Welcome back, everybody, to a brand new episode of The Lookout. This is the first time we're doing it on the video, so if I look crazy, don't mind me.
Whatever. Man, look, it's three baddies on one screen. That's wild.
Right.
Episode 176 of The Lookout podcast. I'm, of course, Meelz. I'm here with the rest of the big three over here. We got none other than AD, who's bringing up the rear. Come on, man. One Piece
What's
gang.
happening?
One Piece.
Y'all already know. Ooh, it's about time.
This is his bread and butter. This is his.
He's trying so hard not to act geeked right now, but it's all
Hey,
good.
man, you right.
Listen.
He's trying to play it so chill. I feel it.
And then we have LJ himself, as always.
Yeah.
You guys are caught up on One Piece, right?
Yes. Well, in two different forms. I only read it.
Same. Like I haven't caught up to the anime yet. Like this is gonna be me also. As we go through this, I'm gonna keep going past and then catch up to the anime.
Okay.
This is right. Like I told y'all before, I do a quarterly, sometimes rewatch. This is gonna be me going through that again.
It's kind of wild. It's the 25th anniversary of One Piece, and the show is not finished yet. Like, it's kind of wild. At the 25th anniversary of Dragon Ball, the shit was done for like 10 years already.
That's what I'm saying. I feel that there's certain anniversaries where I'm like, we don't celebrate this until the thing is complete.
That's what I'm saying, right? Like,
we're celebrating it, but it's still going. There's no like definitive, like, okay, this is done.
We love
so
One
crazy.
Piece.
Yeah, but it's like you see the much love, like it's on the Las Vegas sphere right now, you know what I'm saying? Like it's
that's
so
what
much love.
The sphere looks cool. Like the images they're putting on there.
They've been stepping their branding game up. One Piece is definitely in a different stratosphere. One Piece, the Netflix adaptation, the numbers came in and it was like it was probably like the most watched new original series of 2023 on Netflix. So that was pretty fire.
Has One Piece reached Dragon Ball sphere of marketing?
I would say,
is it above Dragon Ball Z?
I don't know, because like I've been seeing Sparking Zero stuff and like.
So here's my thing, right? I think the United States is a Dragon Ball country for sure. It is 100%. Dragon Ball was the first. It is like, I don't even want to say Christopher Columbus because that's kind of like racist, but it was like the Neil Armstrong, who may or may not be racist. Who knows? It is like the Neil Armstrong landing on the moon. Big modern anime moment in the United States. There were anime before.
I think Christopher Columbus is a solid. It's a solid one for the simple fact that there are other animes here before it. But they're the ones that lay claim to the finding of.
Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm just trying to be as non-problematic as possible. From what I heard about Japan from J5 himself, shout out to J5, co-host of the A Show. You can look it down on the A Show network as well. He says strictly Japan, there's One Piece everywhere. It is One Piece land. It is One Piece country. And quite frankly, I take the stock of Japan over the United States when it comes to anime. For questions, I will not. For essentially, you don't have to. It's pretty much a foregone conclusion why that we would come to that conclusion. But the show isn't over yet. One Piece is still rocking. It's still going. I don't even know if they have a legit ending yet. Do you think Oda knows the ending yet?
Yes.
Okay.
He said multiple times. Yeah, he knows the ending.
There's really one or two endings. You either find a One Piece or they don't find the One Piece.
They're going. So I don't want to talk about it because as we're recording this, the latest chapter just came out, and it's a lot of speculation, a lot of hinting going on about where to find the One Piece. You know what I'm saying? And where it could potentially be. So
here's my thing. Here's my thing with spoilers about One Piece, right? It's too damn long, and I personally don't care. I'm gonna get to it when I get to it, and I'm sure I'm gonna love it when I get to it anyway. So you can spoil me away, but for the people who are listening to this who probably are fans of One Piece who may not have finished it, maybe we'll give them some slack. Maybe episode 1 we'll thank you. By episode 2,
we letting the clip fly by episode 2?
we may feel more comfortable because I may have some questions about like where these characters' futures are and what they're doing and all these other stuff like that. Because all I can do is I go to the One Piece fandom fucking website and I look and I Google a character who's in this arc, and then it shows up with them in a higher quality animation
Pre-time
with
skip, post-time
yeah,
skip.
with a different wardrobe and all this other stuff like that. So it's one of those things.
I mean, I think even too the Water 7 saga, especially comparing it and connecting it to now where they're at, these two things got there's too many connections between right now and Water 7.
Yeah, way too many.
I was supposed to add music to this. Hold on, let me see if I can still add the music. Okay. I was supposed to add music to the background of this a long time ago. Listen, video's weird, okay? Video's fucking weird.
We gotta do everything that we pretty much do in post.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have to. I could have done it in post, but who would do all that?
It's really
hey, but this is a bot though. I ain't gonna hold you.
At my previous job for our photography and video team, we got on shirts that said "Fix it in pre." That always make me laugh.
Listen, "Fix it in pre" is gonna be my motto for the next couple of weeks. We are summer at Kame House. We're going through the entire One Piece Water 7 saga. This is one of the third longest saga in One Piece thus far. I say thus far because it's not over yet. So who knows where we're at. But coming in at a whopping 139 chapters, 116 episodes. We went through Arabasta. Am I saying it right? Arabasta?
Alabasta. You don't.
Alabasta. I'm sorry. I just get my shit from the fandom. Alabasta and the Sky Island saga, which I'm gonna be real with you. I watched both of them on the way here because I knew we were gonna do Water 7, and I don't remember what happened in all of them, like directly. I remember Sky Island and Skypiea for sure. I can't say I remember everything that happened in Alabasta, even though I remember enjoying it.
This leads me into a hot take.
Okay.
I feel that person who's read it, and I've definitely watched some One Piece too for sure, but I've read the complete one.
Right.
I think that where we're starting now is the best place to start watching it. I think everything this is a much better read.
I'm not against that. I'm not against it. I'm not. So here's the thing, right? As we get to like a certain section, where these niggas jumping off a building or whatever, there's a whole section in there that is recap, filler episodes that is just a recap of the beginning of like East Blue and all of the characters from up to that point. So I'm not against that. Plus the animation quality, you can tell right here beforehand, like the animation quality goes up. So I wouldn't be upset at that.
I was also, I'm pretty mad after watching all of this because after I watch everything, I was then introduced to One Piece, which apparently shortens my entire viewing adventure. Yeah. But you know what? Watching One Piece on Netflix is pretty fire. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you.
You can put it on the 1.5. You let it smooth.
You can put it on the 1.5. You can put it on the 1.2. I don't do that from time to time. If I need to like prep before we're doing an episode, I will definitely do that. But otherwise, listen, it skips the beginning for you. It skips the end for you. The episodes are like 18 minutes long. It's a pretty breezy watch as opposed to Crunchyroll. We love Crunchyroll, but y'all, I gotta get up to skip the thing. It's too much. It's the quality of life update needs to update.
They got the skip intro. They just need to skip the credits now.
They need me not to do anything to make things happen.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Like Netflix. Yeah. I need the easiest watching experience as possible. So it was pre-LJ era, and we only did the East Blue, which is great. It's what essentially the live action shit was a part of.
Yeah.
What would you say if you had to summarize everything from East Blue to now in like 30 seconds AD? What would you say is like the general theme of everything in between?
the general theme is Luffy and everybody a part of the crew still trying to figure out what it means to be a pirate. Luffy figuring out what it means to be a leader, being a captain, and what they're really getting into in regards to setting sail on the Grand Line. So
Okay.
East Blue was just preparation. They get into, Reverse Mountain, and that's the beginning of the Alabasta Saga, and they're still trying to figure out, well, what the fuck are we setting sail for? Like, we don't even have the right compass to even move forward. You feel me? Like,
Right.
it's a whole process as they're getting up to this point where we're gonna talk about like the beginning of Water 7 and everything that goes on. Like, were they really prepared for this journey as thoroughly as they could have been? So, and even to that point, like, you met somebody, Don Creed, who had a whole fleet of people, went into the Grand Line, got wiped out by Mihawk. Thought you was ready. Not really. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a whole thing about being prepared for what you're going for, and you know, on the fly, how can you keep going? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. So let's get into what we came here to talk about, which is Water 7. It is one of again, we've talked about this before. It is the longest arc thus far of the series. It is pretty hefty in terms of action. It's pretty hefty in terms of story. To me, when I watched Water 7 for the first time, I was like, oh, this story's actually like turning up. Like, to me, the previous arcs felt like if they were original anime movies, I would have been like, oh, okay, yeah, that's a that's a thing. In terms of the world building, I mean, Skypiea probably felt the most important thus far in my watch building up to this, but this clearly trumps this by a lot. Water 7 is like a completely different kind of. We're getting in a new charted territory with this story. We're kind of really showing things, and we're establishing the Straw Hat Pirates as like the force that they are. Let's talk about the characters
I
of
think,
this.
man, just to connect with that, I think that what
Sure.
it even goes back to what AD was saying, where these previous arcs before here, they're not really an established crew.
Mm,
Like they're the Straw Hats for sure, but like they don't feel cohesive yet. They still feel very
mm,
rough around the edges. They still feel very green. They still feel more like a group of individuals who just so happen to band together. And I think what Water 7 does is it's the arc that changes all that and really establishes like, no, this is an entity, this is a group, these are a group of pirates, these are the Straw Hat Pirates. And I think that's what makes this arc one so enjoyable, but also like why its importance is so heavy, because
mm.
after this, everything that goes down, like these group of people, they're tied together forever. you know
What about you? What makes this saga so important to the One Piece kind of like story? This massive, massive story.
I talked about it before on that East Blue episode, but going along with him, with LJ on this, it's like it really defines who the Straw Hats are. Like, up until this point, they did feel just like a group of individuals. Luffy just inviting people on for whatever reason because they think they're friends, and for the world view, it's only like Luffy who, when people meet Luffy, they're like not really taking him seriously. Like, this little kid is the Straw Hat. Like, man, fuck out of here. And then Zoro, who they think is the actual captain. You know what I'm saying? And then
Right.
up until this point, they got Nico Robin on their crew. After Alabasta, but people really didn't know that because right after that they went into the sky. So it's a whole like gap for the worldview at that point. Um, so
Let me. No, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Finish up.
No, I was just gonna say it's just kind of like they're still individuals by the standards of the world, but they're still kind of like figuring things out as they go along together, and they're just acting like a bunch of friends on a road trip at this point for real.
This arc aired in 2004 through 2000. The saga, rather, 2004 through 2007 in Japan. 2013 through 2015 in Funimation on Adult Swim and Toonami. I can't imagine watching this week to week.
That was the other thing. This was the first arc that Funimation did that was purely Funimation because, Four Kids did all the way up to the end of Skypiea, and they kind of did some of Water 7, but they never aired. So this was the first time that they purely did the dub. And for me personally, this is also the time that I was like, okay, I'm gonna catch up because I only watched the dub all the way up to Skypiea, and then I just can't rewatch it because it's like, it's dub. I'm going to be a dub watcher for real. But then I was like, this
Right.
story is so good, I kind of want to see what happens next. So it's the sub and watching it online on Hulu when they had the episodes or Crunchyroll, you know what I'm saying? So for people watching it airing, one, I can only imagine watching it week to week in 2013 when it came out 10 years prior, you know what I'm saying? Like,
nah. I don't know. This is, to me, especially considering how much filler is actually in this stuff, and all these and everything like that. I'm gonna say this before we hit Water 7. By the end of you reach Skypiea, I'm gonna ask this for both of you guys because I don't really have a. Well, I do. Who's your favorite character by the end of Skypiea?
it's between Luffy and Zoro for real.
Skypiea,
By you?
probably between Sanji and Zoro.
Yeah, I think it's probably between Luffy and Zoro for me. It's something about Zoro that's just so fucking cool. So it is.
But like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Zoro is the shonen character that everyone loves.
Yeah. He's like, we got you at least for that.
Yeah,
you're gonna love here.
Listen, you're gonna.
He
love
always gonna show up for business.
He carries 3 swords. He's cool as fuck. You got the earring on, green hair.
Mm-hmm.
Now what more?
Put the bandana on. It means it's showtime. You feel me?
Bandana on. He has such a cool design. Like everything about him is cool.
So we kick off this Water 7 saga with the Long Ring, Long Land arc. Now, I have no intention on talking about this arc for very long. It is a very lovely arc. It was very off-putting for me, knowing it's like everyone was like, "Yo, Water 7, it gets real serious when you get to Water." I'm not. It's not my 80 accent, by the way, but it gets real serious when it gets to Water 7. But then you start off with this very like unassuming arc of like, wow, to me, it literally starts like an episode of Pokemon.
I told you it feels like Pokemon. This whole thing, it feels just like Pokemon.
Like you expect the music and everything. I was like, oh, we're in this new land, the Long Ring, Long Land. It sounded like one of the Orange Islands or one of the fuck this shit was. Yeah. And we get there, we're introduced to this character. I mean, just kind of like the long and short of this, no pun intended. We're introduced to this new character, Tonjit, who has been away from his horse Shelly for a long, long time. Essentially, the inhabitants on the island have all left him and moved on to another island because I guess all the inhabitants, they continue to jump from island to island every so often. Am I right about that, AD?
Yeah, because the tides of the island keeps changing. So whatever section that they're on eventually gets put underwater. So they have to keep migrating around the ring.
Right. So after Tonjit is reunited with Shelly and everything on this island, the thing about the Long Ring, Long Land arc is everything is long, which is kind of cool and kind of funny because there's like a giraffe that's like a super giraffe, and then there's like trees that are super high, there's dogs that are super long, there's everything on the thing. So it's
the best one is the jaguar, where only his head is long.
Yeah.
Oh my god! But everything leads up. Eventually, they come off to another pirate crew led by Foxy the Silver Fox, who is an annoying. This is like a video game villain, but not like a modern video game villain, like a Sega Genesis ass video game villain. Maybe you're like in the third stage of like Sonic or Crash Bandicoot, like one of those villains that are just like, they're not threatening, but they're also kind of annoying. You know what I'm saying?
Because you gotta beat them like 4 times. It's like,
essentially.
Yeah, like why do they keep repairing right before I beat them?
Right, like I smashed his head. Why is he back up again? You know what I'm saying? oh, I'm supposed to actually throw the box on his head 4 times, and he's supposed to, explode 4 times or something along those lines. And on the fourth time, he's actually dead. He's one of those villains. So they challenge Luffy's crew to a Davy back fight. It's one of the more interesting fights in this thing, because this is a fight. Essentially, it's a duel with multiple rounds. Shout to the sirens that are always just going to be around. Um, it's essentially a duel where you can lose your own crewmates through this. You have to essentially give up or wage a crewmate in this. In each round, you can lose or gain a crewmate or something along those lines. Thoughts on Long Ring Long Land arc before we get out of this? Essentially, that's my
I'm just
kind of thing.
I'm just happy we got ATL Luffy. We got the Afro. We got the roll bounce moment. You feel me? Those are
People
probably
love
the.
Afro Luffy, man. Listen,
It's
man.
so
Hey,
funny
it's one of the funniest moments, man.
because it's like them attempting to be so racist, and it comes off not even like once again the black scent sounds like Macho Man Randy Savage. Like, it doesn't even sound like a black man. It sounds.
You got Sanji in the stands talking jive, and everybody's like, "Bro, I can't believe we let this happen. We can't. We
Imagine
I
being a
don't know how
voice
to do
actor and having to do that. Imagine that recording day.
I gotta
They had to
we
have a
gotta
ball, man. We gotta. We.
get an interview. Yeah, I've been trying to interview Colleen Klinkenberg for a long ass time. Anyway,
No, we gotta.
just because she does Momo for My Hero Academia and she's the ADR director for that show. I don't think she is for this current season that's airing. They moved it to actually what's her man name? Mike McFarlane.
Oh,
He's the ADR director for that show now. So shout out to him. But this
but
Afro Luffy.
no, keep
Go
going.
ahead.
No, go. You talk about Afro Luffy. My thought was more about the arc as a whole, but you give me.
Talk about the arc as a whole because I mean all I'm gonna say is I love Afro Luffy. Part of me was also like, this is racist, but not in the racist way
Yeah,
that it could be.
Yeah,
It could be more racist.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
they could have
yeah.
definitely taken it a certain
They
place.
could have
They could have split it
they
a
could have
certain place
blew
if
his
they
lips
could.
up and darkened his skin and all this other shit like that. I'm like, an Afro.
They were trying to pay homage, like for real, for real. They were actually trying to give it a little love. I'll say.
I'm sick because I felt like it could have been more racist. The mere fact it wasn't as racist as it was,
It kind of
it gives me a
disappointed me a
pass.
little bit. They should,
No, don't be
they
disappointed.
should have given. They should have given the
One
Sambo
Piece,
lips.
One Piece could have never. The Funimation dub for this arc could have been the last dub that this shit had ever
They
seen.
should have gone full
Yeah.
blown racist with it, man.
No, they did
What is cornrow?
they did.
What's box braids Luffy like? What's that voice?
What's the four kids dub to this? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
What's the four kids dub to Afro Luffy? That's the one we'll never see the
You
night
got a
of day
perm?
of. They probably said some extra shit. It was like, yeah, we can't release this.
But no, I think this arc, as goofy as it is, once again establishes the. It's like the beginning of them becoming a crew because
Mhm.
you see as they go through the games, Chopper gets taken, and then then Chopper and Robin gets taken, and they're like, no, like we're either leaving this island with all of us, or none of us is leaving this bitch.
And I feel like you also see the strengths of each crew member as you go through each of these like
Yeah,
games and rounds
and
stuff
not
like that.
even
Like,
just and once again, I think what makes Zoro so cool is that he has no devil fruit powers. It's just like this guy's just a really strong samurai. But also too, like you said, it highlights everybody's skills. It highlights Nami's skills. Even there's a moment where Foxy is like, you're like, I know you're the navigator, but you're really a tactician. Like you know how to kind of put the pieces on the board together, and that's why you're like so dangerous. Obviously Chopper, highly, intelligent. He's their doctor. So it, like you said, it gives everyone kind of an individual chance to show, like, okay, this is how their skills connect to everyone as a team. And this is really what kicks that off. But I think that this is what's so important about this series.
nah, for
I,
sure. I feel
I'll
like.
say.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead. I was gonna say my biggest complaint and probably the only complaint that I have is that you wouldn't know this, Meals, but partway through the second part, like at the roll bounce moment, all the way until Afro Luffy, everything in the middle of that is filler.
Mm,
So like that doesn't happen
damn.
in the manga. Yeah, they just stretch that part out.
All right, they got me. You know,
Yeah,
like my thing is, I'm trying not to watch any of the filler in any of this.
yeah,
Um, but it is what it is. But what I'll say is probably the most important part of this arc is the final 2 episodes of this arc, which introduces well, not introduces, but features Admiral Koji, making a real notable appearance in this show for everything that we can. Admiral Koji is one of the 3 admirals of the Marines,
yeah. He's one of
and
the 3 admirals. Yeah.
and it, go ahead, talk about him. He's
I was
cool. I
gonna,
like him.
yeah, he's one of them ones. But it's just funny how he just shows up and he's sleeping, standing up, as they get to this point, and they're like, "Who is this?" And you see Robin kind of froze. We've seen Robin pretty much calm and collected since she joined the
She's
crew.
been unflappable through this entire.
Yeah, just the
But go ahead.
first time we see her shook, like, oh, this guy, and he's not even really there to like capture them. He's just there to like see what happened to Robin. And we get a little bit more information because he has ties to Robin, in a way, and Luffy. Um, but just meeting him off top, first black man in the Marines that we see, and he's
Mm.
like one of the top ranking officers. He's not bad.
Not bad at all. Listen, the anime where I come from, where there's black people featured, I mean, well, besides General Black, but I feel like just his name being General Black was kind of racist. Um, because it just, it
Yeah,
just is what it is. But um, he's cool, great power. He's got the is it the what's the name of his power? The Double Frost power. Shit.
it's just the ice fruit.
Oh, the ice fruit. Sorry.
Yeah, just go.
But nonetheless, like you said, his interaction with Robin kind of tells a lot. It leads a lot. It previews a lot up for the next arc, essentially saying like, listen, any I'm not even here to kill you guys because anybody who travels with Robin is essentially a death wish for them. Everybody that she's traveled with, everyone that she's companion with, has not lived or not been able to, or something along those lines. Danger always follows them, especially with Robin. So they get into a little fight. Um, Ikoji freezes up Luffy. He freezes up Robin. They manage to essentially. I mean, that's really the end of it. He doesn't necessarily kill Luffy. He spares him. Um, but this is one of those fights where Luffy's going to get stronger because of it. He essentially you beat going up against someone strong like that and getting defeated really kind of shows you like, okay, here's where I stand with that. And people are everything that I read, and I'm just going basically off the fandom. They're like, this fight essentially inspires the moves that he pulls when he eventually goes Gear 2 and Gear 3.
Yeah, yeah, but also it's kind of funny, like the moment that he's unthawed and everything, they're back on the ship, and the first thing he does is make fun of him being frozen. He's like, "This is me frozen," you know what I'm saying? Like, also dumb shit. So while he does take inspiration from the fight, he's also still like not really taking it seriously because he's still alive. He made it through it. So yeah,
Let's
Luffy gonna
go.
be
Let's
Luffy.
go. Right. Let's go over to Water 7. Would you live on Water 7? Is my first question. Would you live there? Is this your jam?
I couldn't live in the bottom.
It's essentially Venice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you live
Yeah.
in Venice?
Yeah, fuck it. Why not? I live on a boat.
Yeah.
I'd be nice with, and they don't even have boats. They got the little seahorse things.
And it seems like they got a good community too, like
That's what I'm
everybody willing to
saying.
help
They
each other
was getting
out. You know what
fresh
I'm saying?
fruit and
Like,
vegetables. They got fish market.
yeah.
Everybody was kind of eating. There was no slums.
They had a festival going on, like, a masquerade party and shit,
Listen,
It was
they had
it was
government,
turned a little
they
bit.
had infrastructure. So when the typhoon comes, they're like, okay, hey, everyone come to this next level. They had everything built out. Like, to be honest,
They had a better version of
it's
FEMA,
ahead.
bro. I swear
They had a booming
they had it
business.
right.
They had a booming and sustainable business there. So it's like it seemed that the job market was good.
I love how y'all ignoring the crime, the deep sea underbelly crime that is in Water 7. Because without it, you know what I'm saying? Like this is it, Usopp shows up and gets robbed.
That's
And y'all talking about
no,
the
that's
infrastructure.
But here's the thing, though. They're pirates. They're pirates, and
That's not on
the problem with that.
Are we at Usopp slander time? Is it Usopp slander time?
No, not yet.
Ooh, I'm
Hey,
getting
hold
the
up.
engine warm. I'm getting the engine warm right now.
80, talk about it.
I'm gonna just say this: like when it came to the Frankie family, they get introduced as bounty hunters and dismantlers, so they're not necessarily a part of the crime. They kind of help with it. You know, they're essentially vigilantes that do their own thing. They're not really like out to do their own stuff because clearly ain't none of them been arrested. Clearly, like they do some type of good for the community when there's pirates that actually come. You know, the shipwrights handle business and get them out the paint. You know, and so it's really not like crime internally. Everything comes from people who are visiting Water 7.
I guess that's true. I don't know. Something about it getting robbed when you just get there is like I know they're pirates. I know it's like pirate on like you're a pirate, so you shouldn't really even be like arguing about getting robbed, but it is what it is.
That is Usopp's fault that he got robbed. Now, granted,
he got caught lacking.
Listen, every island got their own crime. We're not in Water 7 talking about what about Chicago now, are we?
Right.
We're not worried about Chicago's Water 7, right?
Listen, man, all I'm saying is I'm not sure if I'm chilling at Water 7.
It's
all I'm saying
city,
is
man. There was a couple incidents. Like other than that, though, outside of
the entire,
the only crime you saw was happening upon people who invited that level of crime to themselves. When you look at the everyday civilian, they was cooling, they was chilling. And shout out to the shipwrights, because they was holding down and protecting their city too. And people were like, "Hey, man, we can live the life we live because we got these protectors over here." See, you know.
Literally, the worst thing that happened was a debt collector was chasing after one of the shipwrights. That was probably like the one time that we saw like actual crime for real. You know, other than that, it wasn't really like nothing crazy.
And a person got shot, but hey, niggas get shot every day, B.
Exactly.
And the city almost got put under. Listen, there's a lot of things that's going on.
Now, would I say this is my preferred island? No, but would I live there?
Do you have a preferred place that you would stay in the One Piece environment? I don't think I would live on Skypiea.
Nah, for sure. No, I'm too scared of heights. I feel like you fuck around and step on the wrong cloud, it's done. You're over.
I don't think honestly, I would live on Arlong Park. It sounds ghetto.
Arlong Park. None of the Grand Line Islands are really appealing.
You look at any neighborhood in America. If you live in the neighborhood that ends in Park, you are in the hood. You are in the ghetto.
Yeah.
It sounds nuts. Either way, we were introduced to the pride and joy of Water 7, which is the Galila company, which is ran by Iceberg, and he also has a number of shipwrights under him. Listen, let me tell you something about these shipwrights. All right, first watch. Did you assume anything was up with these shipwrights? Because I'm gonna keep it a buck. I was like, oh, okay, they look like cool dudes. I mean, I didn't really know them like that, but you know.
On first watch, there was because they're going there looking for a shipwright too to join their crew. So on first watch, my thought was like, who is crazy enough to join the crew? Yeah.
Right. Who did you think? Was it the guy with the blocky nose?
No, it was gonna be the dude with the ropes. Honestly,
it was always the Luch man, the big Luciano.
No, Luch is. He's
the only one that actually looked kind of funny.
He's a ventriloquist, and he was the one that was like they were mostly interested in him because of the ventriloquism.
I get, you know what? He got a weird enough gimmick about him.
You know, that's a weird gimmick. I don't talk. A bird talks for me. Why ain't you talking? Especially if you have words to talk.
we got animals that talk on our damn boat. We probably don't even need no damn Lucci anymore. We got Chopper.
Right.
Unless this bird, can fix ships, I don't think we need him. But we're introduced to the
We're
Galila.
also introduced to the first Mexican in the series.
Talk about it.
What's my man's name? One with the
Oh,
one
the
with the
dude with the
shotgun.
like pointy, like,
Nah, the one with the shotgun, the mustache.
wait, who?
He's a part of the shipwrights. He has the mustache.
I know who you're talking about. I'm trying to.
Is he
He
part
had
of
the mustache
CP9?
with the shades.
Yeah. And then he had the little shotgun thing, got the tattoos.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about with the little pointy thing on his head.
Oh yeah. What's his name?
Yeah. Okay, I don't remember his name. I ain't gonna hold you. But
Oh,
but
Listen,
yeah.
I think they say it probably like Lulu.
Okay.
is it Lulu?
Yeah, it's Lulu.
Okay. All right. Listen, so all right, so boom. Going back to the kind of plot of this thing, they land on Water 7. They're trying to exchange their money they're trying to exchange the berries for, is it gold?
Yeah,
But
they got gold from Skypia.
exchange the gold. Yeah, they trying to exchange the gold for the berries to be able to, pull some repairs on their ship. They get over to a shipwright. They meet the Galila crew. They meet Iceberg. They meet everyone there. They meet all the eccentrics. Someone tries to rob them. One of them essentially gets their money back, something along those lines. Listen. That's what I'm saying. Like Water 7 seems you getting robbed off rip. They got robbed at least twice on that island, maybe 3 times. Who
They were
knows?
flexing.
Um,
I was swinging that.
it
Swinging
is
them
what it
briefcases around crazy. They were not being.
So they
They
try
could
to
have
get
bought
a
a
ship.
jet. They didn't have to get it all in cash.
And you
Also,
know
my
what's
man.
crazy?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say the crazy part is they were ragging on Luffy about carrying the money. Like, bro, you're gonna lose the money. Like, we don't trust you to carry that. But you like, why don't y'all trust me? I'm the captain. That kind of hurt, Like, here go Usopp
Because
ass.
he's
Like,
stupid, bro.
Why would you give the money to your best fighter to protect it?
Because Luffy's someone who might be convinced to buy something with all of his things that he's not
that's
supposed to
true.
buy. Because he's an idiot. So the
That is true.
worst thing you want to leave is like lose it temporarily. We'll get to Usopp. I know we've been building up this Usopp getting his ass beat for quite some time. We're gonna get there.
Love Usopp so much.
So along this trip, said they need their ship fixed. Kaku does some real parkour to jump across buildings and across fucking things to land on their ship, and he assesses their ship and essentially says, "Listen, man, the Going Merry ain't going so damn merry. The Going Merry needs some repairs. I'm surprised it lasts this long. It will not last another journey with this. It needs to be thrown out, and that is kind of crazy, considering how you remember. I mean, through this crew's entire adventure, you remember when they got the Going Merry. You know how much it meant to them and kind of everything that happened on Skypea and all the other stuff that happened afterwards. The Going Merry has been a big part of this entire ordeal. But the mere fact that like the Going Merry needs to, it's an interesting story bit, I think, of like, wow, the ship needs to go. And how do we, as people who have been along this journey, and it's not really an actual crew member, but it's a major part of the reason why we're all together. We all came together basically on this ship, and we've traveled on this ship. How do we kind of like kind of give it up? So it's really a lot to think about when it comes to that. Chopper and Robin go shopping in the city. We see Robin encounter someone who has um, a masked man who simply said CP9, and then suddenly Robin is gone. And we don't know where Robin is gone. We don't know what's going on. We don't know anything of the rather. We're going to find it out. When we go over the next episode, we'll find out a lot more things. But that was the most skeptical part of this entire thing. And it also added a layer of mystery. It was like, okay, we just learned from Admiral Koji about kind of Robin's past and like everything that we went through. And there's a layer of mystery to her. And there's a layer of dangerousness to her as well. How do we kind of where does this kind of build from here? Um, we see the Frankie family try to jump Zoro as he's on the ship. He takes them out considerably easy. especially considering what happens to Usopp, who essentially, let's talk about it.
He's a sucker. He's a
It's so bad, man.
He just, I mean,
like
Usopp
what
never
makes me mad. I think what
Go
makes
ahead.
me mad about Usopp in this whole situation is that he gets, obviously he gets jumped. They rob the money. He need to crawl back and ask his crew for help. They help him out. That's fine. Perfectly fine. Hey man, listen.
Mm.
I'm never gonna say I got jumped, but I've been in a handicap match before. I understand how hard it is. But his actions and his behavior after the fact is where I'm like, all right, brother, you just don't know your place in this situation here.
I don't think it's not that he knows his place. There was clearly like a major amount of shame that he had from losing all of this money that he had. And I think it's a recurring thing with his place within the crew. Because I don't think he ever felt as strong as obviously the other people there. Like, I don't think it's like a recurring. I feel like through this recurring thing, there's been something with the insecurity of Usopp that has kind of lingered throughout the rest of these arcs when it comes to Luffy or Zoro or Sanji or kind of like all these other people and where their place are within this crew. And I feel like he just wanted this opportunity to kind of like prove it to himself and maybe prove it to him. But then there's also like a lot of embarrassment. Like he didn't want to go back empty handed. He knew that especially, I think a lot of his driving force about it was the going merry. And that being told like, yo, we can't fix the going merry. He was like, you can't fix the going merry. It's a boat, which is what I said in my head.
But it's also, it's the other thing too. Like, straight up,
I've always said this. It's like having a whip, bro. You had your little hoop thing.
But here's the thing, bro.
250,000 miles. That little 2003 Honda Civic that you done had so many memories in. But once that transmission go, nigga, that's 2,500 to fix that. Like that's worth more than a car. Might as well get the brand new John.
Hey,
but
man,
here's the thing. It's like this.
They were going to spend the money to do it.
Yeah. It's not like they wasn't trying to like fix the Mary. Like Luffy in the entire situation was them like, yeah, bro, we can just fix it. You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing like. And when he gets told the information, Usopp just not trying to hear that shit. But on Usopp's side, when everybody's like, it's just a whip, this nigga. Here's the thing about Usopp that nobody else could believe because it's just a part of his character. Like he's always trying to compensate for something. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But at the same time, when they were in Sky Island and the ship got burnt down, he saw whatever spirit it was come alive to try to rebuild it so that they could at least make it off the island. You know what I'm saying? To make it back down. And nobody else saw that shit. So it's like, I know what y'all saying. But y'all ain't seen what I've seen this ship can do. Like, real talk, there's something about this ship that's different from everything else that we've been through. And like,
when niggas die and niggas blame him, then who's fault is it?
Yeah.
Apparently, according to the shipwright, they should have died.
They should have died already.
Exactly.
Yeah. Into that. They're like, hey, listen, it's by God's grace y'all made it here.
I see what AD is saying. That because of that experience, he saw something completely. This is something that he's only going to see, and it's laid into his trust in the ship, because that ship has gotten him out of a pickle, a big one. So it was more so him and not trying to lose this, because I feel like he can see like, yo, if this is the end. First of all, he wasn't even really with the shipwright thing. He's like, who are these niggas, man?
Yeah.
Who would have been telling them that the ship is fine? It just needs some elbow grease. Just need a new, I don't know what it is, but even in my mind, I'm like, it's a boat. Like, come on, you can't fix a boat. I can't throw a couple steps and you fix the boat. Like, it is what it is. But he goes back before. I mean, they catch him slipping. I mean, they put hands and feet.
Oh, bro, they beat this nigga down.
They left him in the street.
They left that nigga in the Family Guy pose, like.
And And the Water 7 people was like, ain't that pirate? Damn.
Great. Ain't you supposed to be a pirate? Is
Just
crazy.
lift him up. Shit, his arms just
Yeah.
whatever, bro. It was like,
Hey,
so Nami
the best part
episode,
about this is that they had drawn his nose crooked.
Yeah.
so Nami on her Yagoro boat was they going at top speed. They're like, yo, we gotta find our peoples. This is what I loved about this part. I was like, yo, don't even worry about it. We gonna find our niggas and they gonna go jump him. Like we gonna get back.
this
Is essentially what.
Yeah.
this is big. I'm gonna go get my brother energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, big like
I'm gonna go tell my cousins.
right. You know what I'm saying? And they find Sanji, Zoro, Doctor. You know what I'm saying? Chopper. Let's go beat up these things so they find them. But before they manage to go back, they also are like, yo, we gotta find Luffy too, because I'm sure, just in case one of them got a devil fruit or one of them got a knife or something, or something like that. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Um, before they do all that, Usopp goes back and he's like, yo, I want the bread. And they show up and they meet the head honcho, which is Frankie himself, who looks completely different from when eventually he takes off all that garb and shit. Um, and Frankie whoops his ass. And boy, does he whoop his ass. And they left him just outside in front of it and everything like that. They just leave him laid out.
Leaving them outside of the house is what's hilarious. They're
Yeah.
And then and like, I'm going shopping.
Right. Like these niggas was turning up. Usopp come in, get his ass beat, get left outside. They still partying on the inside. You know what I'm
You're
saying?
like, I'm going to Neiman Marcus. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah.
nearby. You know what I'm
He's
saying?
about to go get by. They said he said into the black market. They don't even know where that's located.
He's hanging out with his ladies with the square afros and shit. Look, I'll say one thing about Oda. He got some good designs in this thing. I feel like One Piece is a lot of fashion people love One Piece from the way people are drawn and the outfits and the kind of like build of the characters and how they are. Like they are really like fashionable.
That's probably the big
Like
reason why One Piece be having these fashion house collabs. They had the Gucci one a couple years ago. They had another one before that too. One Piece
But
they're
it's also
they have a
so funny. Like,
couple little big fashion house collabs.
but you can also tell that he takes it very seriously because a lot of these characters through arc to arc, they're changing fits. They're not
exactly.
everyone's keeping the same outfits or something along the line. So you can tell that he kind of cares. By the second part of Water 7, he was like, all right, let me put on some black pants. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just, you can tell that this, but they got a lot of great designs
And
in
one
this.
thing I really enjoy about going back to the designs of the characters is that he keeps like as you go along through One Piece, like each island has their own like cultural significance, cultural language. Like there's a reason why they dress the way they do on Wano. There is a reason why they dress the way they don't do on what's Jinbei's island, the underwater island.
Oh, Fishman Island.
Fishman Island, like in the way they look there. There's a way they look, So I like how each island has their own like like it feels like they have their own culture there at each one, which is really cool. And they like dress and they act and they do all these things, when they're there. So it just goes back to what you're saying though. The designs is just they're so next level, but and I agree with you when you're saying that I think they're so next level because there's a lot of actual thought and process put into them. It's not just like, oh, let me just put an outfit on this person. Like the outfits and the things that they're wearing actually mean something. There's some type of relevance that they're of them wearing what they are.
Yeah.
So, eventually, also during this episode, we'll get government officials visit Iceberg office, and they want to get it. We don't really know what it is. They're looking for it, and Iceberg say he don't have it, but he really do have it. And he tells his secretary, who is, I guess, a spy, he's like, "Oh, it looks like they're looking for it. I got it, but they ain't gonna get it." You know what I'm saying? And they ain't gonna know where they get it neither. Um, with that said, the Straw Hats show up to the Frankie family where clubhouse, and they put boots to asses. You know what I'm saying? They cleared it.
Harlem Part 2. You feel
Yeah,
me? Like where they walk
they
up.
cleared it.
My thing
Go ahead.
is, like, it's one thing to beat a man's crew up, right? You go in, you tussle with his boys, you beat him up. But to destroy a nigga house, to destroy a man's living conditions and living space.
Listen, man, that's 200 million berries that they stole right there.
No, I get
Fuck
it.
yeah.
Over 200 million berries, I definitely understand. Would have put a bomb
I'm
under the boat too,
I'm
just
breaking your couch.
to
I'm throwing your MacBook out the window. We doing all this other stuff like that. You ain't stealing that much money from me. I tell you that right now. Everything going to rip. Kick your manga collection over. Fuck it. We getting real disrespectful over here.
And it's so
Um,
crazy, like you get Luffy doing this is the first time he ever does the move, but the gum cannon, where like they fit the biggest nigga from the Frankie family. He puts on a pair of shoulder pads and he's like, you can't break this down. Y'all weak as fuck. And this nigga just charges up the attack, breaks the armor. They're like, this little nigga did that. Somebody shoot a cannonball. Zoro cuts the cannonball and the cannon. Like all of these niggas just flex. They are that pissed, but they just flex on these niggas the entire time. Like y'all can't run from this ass whooping. We finna put belt to ass the
yeah,
entire
this
time.
is too damn bad, motherfuckers. I bet y'all never try my boy again. I promise you. With that
this
said,
is where
it gets
it gets under
this
my
is where
skin. He gets under my skin right here. This is where I start hating.
the
Yeah,
road meets the
yeah.
rubber in this section, and it's the last two episodes we're going to talk about before we end this episode of it, is the fight between Luffy and Usopp. And this is one of the realest things I feel like I've seen in anime ever. This is stuff that normally is like for TV shows, like late 90s TV shows, like The Best Friends Have a Fight or something along those lines. But I'm thinking in my head, I was like, how come Krillin never told Goku to shut the fuck up? How come, you know, I mean, Bakugo does it to Deku all the time, but how come, I'm trying to think of, I guess they do it in Naruto too, but Sasuke's a little weirdo asshole.
Usopp is here
But
right here too. He's the big weirdo asshole in this situation.
I
Yeah.
don't I'm not completely sold on that,
But
but
it's
I
like
see what you're
let's say it's like Tanjiro and Zenitsu, and Tanjiro never tells Zenitsu to shut up until this moment. Like
so let me set the scene. Let me set the scene before we get into it. They get back to the ship after that ass whooping, and essentially Usopp's getting his wounds treated, and they're like, Usopp's just like, and of course, let me fix the Going Merry, and we'll do it. And then Luffy's like, we're not fixing the Going Merry. We're getting a new ship. And Usopp's is like, stop joking, guys. Like, you guys are wilding. And he's like, nah.
We're getting a new shit.
No matter what money, he was like, essentially like, I know you thinking with the money don't matter. We're changing the ship. And he's like, I know, we only got 100 million berries left, but damn, like we can fix the ship still. We can get a new thing. He's like, we're not fixing the ship. And Usopp is like, so it's because I got my ass beat that we can't fix the ship.
See, it's like you're being selfish.
here's one thing.
First of all, you got your ass beat. In this current conversation, in this current climate, you need to shut the fuck up and just say okay to whatever anyone is
Right.
saying. You just got whooped on. You just got the money taken. You had to get saved. Like, hey, this is not a time for you to feel that you have any type of say in this decision here. None. Like, brother, if
it's
you
the
wanted
Going Merry, bro. The Going Merry got them off of Skypiea. The Going Merry got them to where they at. He is in a different. He's like,
I understand it. Like, it got them through a lot, but it's like at the end of the day, when they're like, "Hey, man, it can't be fixed. It's done. You need a new ship. If you want to continue to go further, this ain't gonna last you." Like, the laws of physics. It's like you can have as much faith as you want, as much whatever you want in this. The laws of physics say this isn't gonna last. It's time to move on.
Usopp said,
thing, though.
Usopp said, "You rather listen to some stranger you just met today than listen to me who been with us from the beginning about our damn ship." And everyone was like,
And
"Ooh, shit."
Luffy was
I know.
like, "Bro, you're not certified. You don't have a degree in this
you,
shit."
you have
Like,
no you have no certifications. You went to zero trade school. You have zero certs. Yes, I'm gonna listen to the complete stranger. He's
like here's the one thing. Here's the one thing I say about Luffy that he could have handled the situation a little bit better if he explained that they couldn't fix the ship. He didn't say that directly. He just said that they're not going to. We're going to get a new ship, and everybody's looking like, but he didn't say it properly. You know what I'm saying? So Usopp already off top is like, this nigga just got out of a coma. You feel me? Like he don't know what the fuck going on. It's probably like a fever dream to him. He got CTE.
yes.
It, it's just a weird situation to be in when you're waking up and they're like, yeah, we're not fixing the ship, and then he has to force it out of Luffy to say we can't fix the ship. Like he could have just led with that instead of just like going around and just saying, yeah, this is
Usopp
what
came
we're
off
doing.
crazy though.
He even apologized.
Usopp literally got mad and started just wilding off rip.
Yeah.
It was like,
I mean, did Usopp say anything disrespectful?
yes.
Yeah, he did.
Nah, he got wicked.
He was like, bro, this is how you gonna be a captain? Like, on some
He
real
was
shit,
like,
you gonna
what's
leave
up,
niggas behind like this? Like, I don't know. I don't fuck with that.
You ain't calling about his name or nothing. You ain't calling about. You could have called Luffy way worse. You know what I'm saying? And it is. You could have called Luffy as like, you're the one who got us. But eventually, I mean, you can't because Luffy the one who be getting y'all out of these messes. So it really is what it is.
Man, listen, he tried to hit him with not everybody has the same dream as you. No one can just always look ahead. Like, get that lame shit out of here. Man, come on. Get your non-ass ass on, man.
So essentially, Luffy is like, if you don't like the way I captain my ship, you can. Everyone's like, calm down, y'all wildin'.
Luffy saying that was more black than the actual afro.
And Usopp is like, no. If you want to say that, say it like that. This is what we're going to. No, he said it. Like, you can't
Let's take it there. Let's take it there then.
Right, let's take it there. If we taking it there, let's take it there.
Man.
So is that if y'all want to leave Mary, y'all gonna leave me behind too? And they're like, listen, man,
it is what it is.
Sanji kicks Luffy to get him to stop doing all these other things like that. Zoro's like,
this is all right, and this is why I fuck with Zoro so much. This is why I fuck with Zoro so much, especially these early days of One Piece, because he really sets the standard for Luffy on how to be a captain and understanding like his role and his position. I think that he like holds everybody in check like that. I think that's what pisses me off so much about Usopp. So at the end of the day, brother, you join this ship, but you know who the captain is. You know who's making the decisions. You may feel a way about it, but hey, man, we all in line. If the captain says this is what it is, even as strong as Zoro is, he'll still be like, fuck it. That's what the captain said, then that's what we got to go do.
Yeah, because Zoro's the day one, bro. So he knows how Luffy been since day one. Like, everybody else been like, for play or for whatever the jokes that Luffy is, like, yeah. It's just the fact of like, with Luffy, like he's been challenged as a captain up until this point. Like he's only faced other types of pirates for real. And so you kind of see him going through the challenges of being a captain. Like even when he had Vivi on the crew, she was challenging him as a captain. Like, I don't think you fit to be a leader, dog. Like you're really on some bullshit. Like,
don't test my gangster. Come on now.
Yeah.
Dog,
but it like,
and then he figured it out, and then people try to make it a sob story of, oh, I feel so bad for Usopp. I ain't feeling bad for this bitch ass nigga. Like, no. What? I'm not feeling bad for him.
He asked for this. He literally asked for the ass whooping.
He asked for it. End of the day, he should have known his position. Hey,
so
just lost 200 mil. Bro, I would have shut up. I would have woke up not saying a goddamn word. I would have started cleaning. Hey, I would have woke up and started cleaning. Hey,
He was trying to be like, let's fix the Mary. Let's goddamn. We gotta get some more shit.
Hey, we
Let me.
Hey, listen, we leaving. Oh, hey, I can pack y'all stuff up. I got the whole downstairs. Y'all just get up. Y'all just get the food.
With that said, this is the most riveting scene of the series that I've seen thus far, by like a lot. And there's been great moments. Don't get me wrong. There's still great moments. East Blue got a great moment where they walking up and the whole Nami hat thing is fucking amazing. There's more stuff that happens afterwards I forgot about that AD will surely remind me of. I'm sure. But this is one of the most like memorable moments because it felt very very real, and it felt like something that you don't normally see in anime. You don't normally see this kind of like nuance and kind of like this back and forth and things that have been built through internal conflict with characters like Usopp, him feeling inadequate in some instances that's leading to kind of this outburst, and then also Luffy in a sense who's now assuming the role of a captain, assuming his role in all these things and having to defend that. So eventually, Usopp does leave the ship, and everyone is tearful. Everyone is mad. Everyone is like, "Damn, bro! Like, I can't believe Usopp. I can't believe this is really happening to our crew." And I feel them in that way because me, as a friend, like that will hurt. Like losing any part of your crew hurts. Losing any part of your friend group, unless they did something. Again, he could have got way more disrespectful, which is why I'm like, that's why I'm sad. If he had called Luffy like essentially like you a bitch captain, it would have been a little
but
bit different.
but even at the same time, like but everybody on the crew
He
understood where he was
called him a
coming
bitch.
from. It wasn't
Right,
like
right, right.
anything too crazy. Like
Right, but he essentially said, like, listen, 10 o'clock, we scrapping. And sure enough, at 10 o'clock, it happens. And we see Luffy versus Usopp.
I hate
What are your
trying to
thoughts on
make this
Luffy
man.
versus
They
Usopp?
try to make Usopp look strong. I hate them so much.
that's what pisses me off the
I
most.
hate
Here's what pisses me
so
off the
much
most about this
because he does
entire
not
fight,
look that
bro.
strong ever again.
Ever again, this
Ever
nigga put
again,
in
he's not
way
look
too
that
much
strong. I
work.
hate him.
He put in too much work to whoop Luffy's ass. Like Luffy only got 2 hits in. This nigga had a whole plan, a whole setup. He don't never do that for nobody. How you are always running from fights and shit, but you could put in the time to beat your own friend ass like this, bro? Like
Let
you
me
really had that much.
This man had.
time out, time out,
No. This
time
man
out,
had
time out.
spikes on the ground. He had bombs set up.
Right?
He had gas. Where did you even get CO2 from? I don't even
I
know.
never had no plans like
He
that.
had an impact dial on the slick. What?
Time out, time out, time out, time out. We're not saying Usopp is strong, all right?
We're not saying that even
No,
they made him.
he doesn't put in that much effort to fight somebody.
Here's my thing though. Also, I felt like looking at what happens later in this saga, he kind of puts a plan together for all these things that kind of like go down towards the end. He's not an idiot.
No,
You know what
we're
I'm
not
saying?
saying he's an idiot.
Yeah,
He's not an idiot. So he can put some things together. He knows Luffy to an extent of like, oh, he not gonna see this coming. No one's ever gonna see this coming. Man got flash bombs and eggs and stinky eggs and all this other shit that goes down and all this other. It's a pretty interesting fight. The impact dial, yeah, all that to the face and stuff like that. They made it look. They didn't completely want to, because Usopp had already got his ass beat twice that day. A third time of just a one sided. It was like, all right, don't come back to this ship. You can never do anything on this ship. Ever.
and that's the funniest part. Like they really he woke up that day like, yeah, we finna get a new ship. We finna goddamn be on like not to get a new ship, but we finna fix the Mary. Everything's finna be a great day. This nigga playing Ice Cube in the room and shit. You feel me? Like he went to sleep that day with 3 ass whoopings. Like
3. Wait, what thing is this? Meelz.
I wouldn't have went to sleep. I wouldn't have went to sleep. I would have just been up all night.
Meelz, how would you feel if me and you, we part of the gang, me and you ganging together? We going through what we going through. Me, one day you piss me off, I'm like, man, fuck this, Meelz. We gotta squabble. Me and you, we gotta go. And I give you what you think is the roughest, toughest fight of your fucking life.
Right.
after we shake hands, whatever, we go back ganging, and you never see me fight like that ever again. You never see me fight like that ever again. You will look at me like, dog, me and you have fought. I have seen you put hand, like, I understand your strength and your skill, and you never do that again, ever. You never look that strong again.
Clearly, I gotta watch more of this series because there's no way that this man never can. He's on the crew for the rest of this fucking time.
Hey man, hey.
When's the
He
next
said
time?
he
When was
helps
the next
fight the
time?
world government. He
Two
helps fight the
moments.
thing after this is throwable.
There's probably
But
two
go
more
ahead.
times after this that he looks more times that he looks as strong as he did against Luffy against any other character.
Okay, y'all treating him like old girl from fucking Naruto.
He is. And shoot, I'll say, hey, listen, if you had to give me a trade, I'm taking her over Usopp.
Straight up. Like Nami has way more
Sakura
moments
over
than
Usopp.
Usopp. And
If
I'm
I
not
had
gonna
to have
hold
a
you.
right
Like,
hand, I had to be a best. I'm taking Sakura over Usopp.
I'm not
I mean,
What?
that's messed up.
Hey man,
Usopp,
him, Nami, and Chopper got the name as the weak trio, bro, for a reason. Like, and Chopper just put hands to niggas in the Frankie house. Like,
listen,
at least,
man.
listen. My thing is this: at least Chopper and Nami pull they weight in other ways.
All I'm gonna say is
Usopp getting the free Usopp, the nigga in the section that's in there that don't really belong in there, but he got in there because he's the friend of that guy. When you really look at it, you're kind of just like, he doesn't really be. You know, why is he really here? He ain't really with us. He ain't really doing what we're doing.
he finessing bottles from the bottle girls and shit. Like, that's really
Yeah,
it. Like,
don't do that to Usopp. Come on, man.
he talking good game and shit. Like, yeah, nah, I done did this. You know what I'm saying? I work with such and such a
No,
studio. You feel me? Like,
he's really that juicy bean where they're like, we changed this broke ass nigga's life. Like, that's really this guy is really Usopp.
Listen, I feel bad for. I feel like Usopp get his fourth ass open today. Conversation,
bro. I can't bang with him.
But Luffy lays the power of God on him and knocks his ass out, knocks his silly ass out. And that's the end of Usopp. And they're walking away, and it's like, can we, Chopper's like, can we at least see if he's okay? And Zoro's like, don't you ever touch that nigga. He's part of our crew. And until he's ever part of our crew, until he apologizes, until he kisses the ring, you'll never see that nigga ever again. And I was like, damn,
real
I guess
talk.
he got a point.
But this is also, it's like at the end of this too. This is the first time since like Luffy was a kid that we've seen him cry, because he cried at the end of this shit. Like,
yes, he does.
You knew that meant something to him for real. Like,
yeah,
I really just had to beat this nigga ass. Like,
hey, listen,
I wasn't trying to beat your ass.
Sometimes you got to do it.
Sometimes
you got to whoop your friend's ass. Your friends start getting a little crossing the line a little bit. Hey, man, it's out of love. I'll whoop your ass right now.
I mean, yeah. With that said, that's the end of this first episode of the Summer of Kame House series.
Oh man.
Listen, Water 7 is just only going to continue. We're doing this bi-weekly, so it's going to be every other week. So we won't be back next week, but we'll be back the week after that. And quite frankly, it's for your own benefit, because One Piece is long as a motherfucker. One Piece, you got a couple episodes to go through. Actually, these next set of episodes, let me pull up the actual
isn't it the next like 50?
Yeah, essentially. No, it's like 20. So next episode that we're doing, which we're going to continue the Water 7 arc, episode 237 through episode 255 of this thing. A lot happens. We learn a lot more about what's going down with Robin. Some villains come out of nowhere, and they got weird powers, and they do some weird shit. And maybe Usopp is still around, maybe Usopp is not around. listen, Summer at Kame House. Want to thank you guys for tuning in. Of course, if you want to follow us at the Lookout RNC on Instagram. Follow the Instagram page is booming. Follow us on Twitter as well. They going crazy in the comments for this Usopp video. I'm letting you know right now. I kind of want to read some of the comments, um, just on thing, just to see what people are kind of talking about with this thing, because people have opinions, just like we have opinions. People have opinions, because there's like a lot
When
of
it comes to
people.
this situation, there is a right and a wrong opinion. That's all I gotta say.
Yes.
Wow.
There is,
Shout out to Big Tim.
there is
He
a
said,
right and a wrong way to think about this situation.
Big Tim says Usopp was in his feelings. Get him beat up twice, and Rob will do that. But he was ultimately tweaking. He needed to remember his role in the crew, which he often forgot.
Listen,
Hiroto said
it's that simple.
Luffy was right. Luffy was right, but handled it horribly. Alex says, I understand Usopp's position, and on first watch, I thought he was completely in the right. Water 7 kind of destroyed him mentally, poking at his insecurities about being a liability to the crew. Luffy also wasn't as emotionally mature as he is now, so he handled the situation pretty poorly. But at the end of the day, he was in denial. He knew that Mary was on her last legs. He just didn't want to admit it because the crew could abandon something as important as a Mary. If she couldn't keep up, he was next. That's actually pretty deep. That's actually is like, listen, if the Mary
He
can't
saw
keep
himself
up,
that way too, though. Like
Hey, shout out
he
who
said that when it happened.
Alexander. Shout out to Alexander. That was a
you
bar.
body that one. Yeah, that
He
was
did.
that was a bar. That was a bar. I ain't say Usopp caught another stray. In the worst way possible. But listen, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, follow us everywhere. Listen to this podcast, listen to Subslide, Dubslide. They're continuing to go through the tournament arc they're going through. They're actually coming up on the last couple of episodes. So make sure if you haven't caught up already, you go catch the other batch of episodes as well. We recorded this on video. No idea if this video will ever come out. We'll see. But at the end of the day, thank you guys for tuning in. Don't meet us there, beat us there. The Lookout. We'll be back in 2 weeks with more of One Piece. Take care.